to 3FOUR3 on the Sportycast YouTube channel. My name is Dave, and once again, I am joined by my trusted co-hosts, Jason Ronnie and Ziad Parker. Jason, how you doing, my man?
No need to complain on my side, fella. Doing good. My team showed up when it mattered. When others dropped points, I was there to pick them up. So yeah, can't complain.
I don't know if it's picking up or putting them down, but I respect the hustle. I respect it. Ziad, how are you doing over on that side?
Yeah, it's looking good from up here. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean
I'm
everybody's
wearing a
looking up
hoodie
to
because
you
he's
guys,
up in the
eh?
clouds, and it's such a lofty position that he's taking, and so I must put a hoodie on. Like you can also see that he's not in Cape Town because it's freaking burning.
That's true. That's true, and that's fair. I mean, the weather yesterday was insane,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that as long as I'm not freezing, like I prefer the warmer weather over the colder weather, so I'm good with it. We have a bit of a jam-packed show today, doing a bit of a Premier League weekend review. Going to be talking about the struggles of Arne and Ruben Amorim. We're going to be talking about Arteta getting his team to extend their league at the top. Chelsea basically staying within distance of Arsenal as well. And yeah, we're going to end off with a game like we played it a few weeks ago. Play on yellow card, red card. So I'm bringing it back for this episode. So yeah, everybody in the chat, welcome. If you are new, we would love you to subscribe to our channel, hit the like on this video, and yeah, just pop in your comments into the live chat, and we'll get to them when we have a moment. So yeah, just straight off the bat, this weekend was a bit crazy. City drop points, United drop points, Liverpool drop points. It's a bit of a smooth sailing there on top, except for Chelsea. That's just making you guys sweat a little bit, but we'll get to that preview a bit later. Jason, how are you feeling?
Now, like I said, man, it was a good weekend. Ordinarily, I think we have this nature to be pretty nervous once teams drop points. Arsenal don't generally pick them up. But yeah, I think we did it in a very professional fashion. I think we showed up in all the right areas at all the right times and all the right moments. We even gave them a glimmer of hope. We said, okay, guys, here's something. Feast on it, think about it, and then we ripped it away. Not even 5 to 10 minutes later. So yeah, it's good. It's nice on a weekend where your rivals drop points. You actually pick up and you actually do what needs to be done. So yeah, it's feeling good.
I love that. I love that. I love that for you guys, not necessarily for me. Ziad, last week we previewed Newcastle and Man City, and I think the overwhelming response from all of us was that City was going to absolutely smash them. And it didn't pan out that way. The Newcastle team that showed up was one that we've been hoping to see all season. We have spoken about how Newcastle can be is like having a bit of a roller coaster season. Do you think that was a flash in the pan? Do you think that's something that they can now sort of build on and replicate week on week? City's lost now 2 games in a row as well. The Premier League over the weekend, and then last night in the Champions League. So yeah, if you want to speak about that result and Newcastle a bit further, you have the floor.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the form guide, it was overwhelmingly in Man City's favor. Also, the history of the fixture with Eddie Howe having never beaten Man City in his managerial career with all the clubs, well, 2 clubs he's been at. Also, it just looked like, City were coming to it in a much better space. And I think they played fairly well, so I don't think they were outplayed. They created a lot. They just didn't put it away, like as clinical as they usually are. And with Newcastle, I think, it's hard to get too excited too quickly because last night, I think it's a 36-year-old Aubameyang scored a double, which saw them lose in the Champions League. So I think I'd like to see more of that from Newcastle. They created well. I mean, it's almost as if Anthony Gordon's injury was a blessing in disguise for them because it gave Harvey Barnes that scope on the left. Murphy just phenomenal. Like I was chatting to someone over the weekend. We were watching the game together, and he's like, you can't understand how a guy like Jacob Murphy's playing for Newcastle week in, week out. And for me, it's the work he does off the ball that keeps him ahead of Ilanga, for example. And it's just that they fight. The midfield was really good. Defense was really good. So I think Eddie Howe would want more of that in the league, which is where he struggled a bit in comparison. But they do have a tough game against Everton coming up, so I'm not too convinced about them being able to be more consistent going forward. With City, I mean, Pep made 10 changes to the team yesterday that lost to Leverkusen, and it showed because there was just no rhythm in how they played, so they lost 2-0. It's such a strange thing because the last game, they beat Liverpool 3-0. And you're like, okay, now they're about to go on that run where they reel off results. And they just didn't. I mean, Newcastle just seemed to want it a little bit more. And a guy like Doku was kept quiet. And again, the midfield, I think Nico Gonzalez was good in flashes, but he doesn't have the same ability that Rodri, or the same consistency Rodri had. So I honestly think City will bounce back this weekend. They'll probably get a win, and I'm sure we'll come to that a bit later. So I wouldn't worry too much if I was Man City, even though they did drop points last night.
I think just on that, right, we had spoken about it last week. We were talking about the sort of key areas where the game would be won. We said the midfield, one of the key areas, because Newcastle have a very aggressive press to them. We said press the keeper, maybe not us, but somebody in the comments said press the keeper because that's where there's a lot of errors that can come. And we saw, I think in the first minute, there was the chance that Harvey Barnes got where Donnarumma tried to play a ball that maybe he shouldn't have. He should have just cleared the ball. And then they almost scored from that. And then we also highlighted Jacob Murphy and what a role he played in both. I'm not going to say, I don't know if it was the first goal but he was involved in the second goal, and even the chance that Harvey Barnes missed in the first half where he put the ball just wide. Like the role that he plays is often understated because he's not a flashy player, but he does exactly what you want. In your 11 players, you need at least 3 to 4 that are going to give you 7 out of 10s every week. Then you get your ones that are going to step up on that day, and you need to at least have half of the team doing well, and they'll be able to carry what's rest or what's left of it rather. So yeah, I think Newcastle, maybe the problem that they have is when it comes to the bigger games, they don't need much motivation to get up for it. They're there to play St. James Rocks. But like you say, Everton away becomes a different challenge in that, Everton come on a bounce. And I think it's just Eddie Howe's inconsistencies is probably what's going to be the issue this season. I don't think he knows what he's wanting to do.
Yeah. With that City point you made about pressing, right? It's funny because like leading up to the international break, they actually weren't taking as many chances in possession at the back. They were pumping the ball forward a bit earlier, which is how Doku was thriving. And it's almost as if with that 2 weeks they spent away from the training ground, they kind of forgot what was working for them before the break. And Donnarumma was playing it long, which is how Doku got on the ball so quickly and could attack, much earlier. Whereas by trying to pass around at the back, it eliminated his effectiveness. And I think the other thing you mentioned, were the guys who do all the work, kind of not celebrated enough. The Newcastle midfield, Sandro Tonali was phenomenal on the ball, off the ball. Bruno G was solid. And, Joe Linton's that type of guy that you hate as an opposition fan, but if he's in your team, he's doing everything you need. He's doing those professional fouls. He's in your face. He's doing all the small things that just cause a little bit of needle in the game. And the one concerning thing, I think, for Man City was how anonymous Bernardo Silva was. It was like 40 minutes before I realized he was even on the field. And that was a bit worrying. Foden was also quite flat. So, I think we were spot on talking about the midfield battle as being the key one.
Did you guys see that comment from Eddie Howe saying that he feels Joelinton needs more protection because all he's doing is just trying to defend himself? And I was like, how how are we watching the same game and thinking that Jolinton, the thug, needs more protection? Like he's already getting so much from the refs, and the ref in such a different manner when they're at St. James. But yeah, just interesting to see how suddenly the tail turns.
Yeah, no, man. The, the coaches will always see it through a different lens as
Yeah.
the rest, like compared to the rest of us, and especially if the rest of us aren't Newcastle supporters. So I'm just gonna pivot off. Like you mentioned that the next opponent is Everton. So I'm just gonna speak real quick about the Everton United game as well.
AF,
Before
AF,
we get into
don't
Yeah,
the
rush
take your
such a
time with
good
it, man.
thing, man. You don't have
Take
to
your
be
time
quick,
with it.
you know.
Don't rush
Take
through
your
all the
time.
sections.
hello,
I mean,
hello.
United had one night
This
to
is
even
this is
play
my
on.
episode, guys. I'm pivoting the way that I need to go.
No,
I have a
no, no.
process.
Hey,
So
don't
I'm
let me
going.
slap Jason here, no.
What?
Don't let me slap my teammate.
No,
That's
please,
that's
please.
exactly what I wanted to speak about. What what are your guys' thoughts on whatever happened there between? And I mean, he came out after the game. He apologized publicly. The PR rep probably said that this is what you need to type out on your social media, whatever. But
Mm.
I mean, during the game, like, what is happening over there? Like, Jason, you've played semi-pro for a while. Is that something that you've ever seen? Something that you've seen in the dressing room? Like, what happened over there?
I don't know, bro. My semi-pro was only on FIFA, and that was when I was starting out. But yeah, look, there's the heat of the moment, and certain instances definitely bring it out more. But I feel like that was such an unnecessary situation, and I think it was one of those times where you want to have a little bit of common sense. Also, you'd want the refs to also look at it and say, okay, look, it's a little bit of an altercation there. What I found strange about it, and I was having a little debate now as I was watching the game, and we were talking. Myself and Dan were like talking about he goes to slap him. And I thought no, maybe it wasn't. And then watching it back, I'm like, I don't know what possessed him, but I think it's maybe he's like short, and then he like tried to just like knock him away, and then it just looked. But I think that ref shouldn't have sent it off because it's early in the game, right? It's 10 minutes.
Yeah,
It's literally you caused what could have been a direct influence on the game, and I don't know. Maybe they don't score if they're down to 10 men. I don't know, but yeah, I think it was completely reckless, and yeah, I don't agree with the decision, but yeah, what a crazy moment to lose your head like that after you won a goal kick. Nobody scored from
also,
it. Nothing happened.
yeah,
You it was your ball, and you said, "Now you know what? I'm gonna take this out because that man stole my spot at the dinner table 3 weeks ago in the national break."
and then they follow it up with a proper smack. It was
Yeah,
like a proper connection there on the side. I saw afterwards Amorim said that like he doesn't agree with the decision either, and
yeah.
he wants his players to be fighting like that as well. So
Then
I,
United have a record every week,
I
and it's
don't
probably going to be
understand
every
how
week.
how things are
So,
anything
so
above the
I
neck is red.
yeah, just looking at this, right? So I'm in favor of that, 100%. But should the rule be tweaked when it's in your team? Like immediately after the game, they were able to show footage from back in the day where I think Nicky Butt fought with somebody, and then the other one was I think it was a striker that played for.
Newcastle.
It was
Yeah,
Kieran
no, no.
Dyer and Lee Bowyer.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That is the one. Yeah, sorry, not Nicky Butt, but then there was the other. Who was the striker that played for Stoke, man?
Oh, it was
Ricardo
Ricardo Fuller. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, okay, if it gets to that point where you start throwing punches, but to my understanding of the situation, there was a push and then Ganagay was walking away and Keane wasn't going to do anything. So it's like, okay, fine. Had the thing, walk away. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that
Nah,
rule should
man.
be for internal.
I think it's simple. You should approach it like a crime, right? It happened within your own team, right? You just
Yeah.
ask the guy that got hit, do you want to press charges? And it's his choice. If he wants to press charges, the ref can send the bra off. If he's like, nah, it's fine, don't worry. Then, Just let it be. But it's stuff like the guys are saying in the comments. Any sort of behavior in that way is a red card. So he got what was coming to him, and I think you guys are right. There's probably some off-field stuff or something that happened in training that came out. It was just a brain fade. And somehow it rallied the Everton guys together.
Yeah, surely.
And I think United are still in shock about what happened and how it happened, and then that led to what they did. But okay, the result is 1-0. It was a fantastic goal from Dewsbury Hall. But United did create a lot, and it was just Pickford doing that crazy thing he does to make sure that he's England's goalkeeper. He has these performances every couple of
Tuchel
weeks.
was there.
Where he just saves everything,
Yeah. Nah, it's an interesting one, right? Because I think maybe questions are asked because the shot that Dewsbury Hall hits is not straight at Lemons, but he gets a solid hand, if not, or he has a chance to get a solid hand, but it goes like that. I think his starting position, and look, this is from our limited goalkeeping. I used to play SA under 7 goalkeeper. So look, you want to dive up instead of across, and I think he dived, more horizontally than things of that. Guys, trust me, I understand what you're talking about. But I think the problem that United have is that potentially when the onus is on them to attack and to do more, which they sort of then created a bucket load of chances, and then they still couldn't finish. It's a lot easier when the team is pressing, you can just catch them on the counter. When the onus is, okay, you have to create and you have to play against a team that's going to do what you normally do, it gets a bit harder for them. And barring a few crazy saves, there was a lot of crosses when your striker is the one crossing, but when you have a 6'9" striker, then you guys play to his feet, you play over the top, you don't put any crosses in. So there was definitely a big disconnect about who was on the field and who they thought they wanted.
Yeah, and I mean, the Joshua Zirkzee, that was his first start this season.
Yeah.
He's played limited football throughout the season so far. You could see he was definitely rusty. The guy was giving possession away every chance that he got. Eventually, when he yeah, for sure. When he actually headed the ball on target, like he had said, Pickford just made these worldy saves. But it didn't help that before the game, Tuchel basically went to go shake hands with all of all of Everton's English players. So they knew that they had somebody there watching him, and I think Pickford just passed that test with flying colours. So I think he'll be very chuffed. But it also comes down to Rúben Amorim being stubborn once again about his system. So over the last few weeks, all United fans on cloud 9, unbeaten in 5 games, Ruben in all of these things. And then after one result, the media is back again. Should Amorim be sacked? All the United fans are saying Amorim out. Do you guys
should he?
Sorry?
Should he?
No. You should stay.
I just want to see.
I mean, it's one result. Yes, he's still stubborn about his system. When the opposition goes down to 10 men, shift from 3 centre backs to 2, bomb the midfield or something like that. Just you have the chance to overrun the players, but you're still sitting back, you're still being defensive. And I think that's something that he needs to start changing. He's not going to get 2 or 3 years or whatever, however long, to keep on making the same mistakes. So as much as I'm saying Amorim I still want him to continue. I still trust him to go ahead and do what he needs to, but he needs to start being more flexible. He needs to start adapting. Like we've been saying, adapting all season so far. And there are times when he does, but against 10 men, I mean, you can't be playing 3 centre backs.
It's also just added on this, right? Who is it now? I think Yasin was saying that they're just not professional, right? Or not being professional. But I think in this instance where you see teams drop and you have the possibility to go closer to the top after you had probably one of the worst starts like season stuff. It's not about how nicely you play, but you just have to ensure that you get the win. So there was a lack of desire to capitalize. You have the Monday night game, you have all the results before you. You know exactly what it is you need to do, and you just need to stick it out and do the bare minimum. And yeah, I just felt like a lot of the players didn't want to do anything. And I think up until the final third, it's fine and it's great. But then in the final third, where you have to make those clinical decisions, that's where it seems to be falling apart for you guys. Like, it's fine. Bruno can play a ball over. Ahmad can maybe run onto it, and then, but yeah, it feels very reminiscent. So yeah, sucks that it's to be you guys.
The thing is, everybody looked off. Nobody really put their hand up on the night, except for, I think, Matthijs de Ligt. I think he was like by far our best player on the night. But you have a captain in Bruno Fernandes, and you're looking for inspiration, and the inspiration isn't going to come from our captain shouting at every other player because of a mistake that he made. So small things like that, it really does contribute to the overarching narrative of what the team can accomplish. If you are down in the dumps, you want somebody to be motivating you, not to be chastising you in everything that you do. So a lot of thought for them to put in, a lot of questions to be asked internally, and hopefully they can turn over a different leaf over the weekend. I'm just going to swap from one Merseyside team to another, and that is Arne Slot's Liverpool. It's just going from bad to worse over there, eh? Ziad?
Yeah, I mean, it's Liverpool are interesting because obviously they won the league last season and they've got a lot of new players in, and there's all this talk about transition and all that stuff, and I don't quite buy it that much. And watching them play, it just looked a bit strange, to be honest. And the overarching narrative here for me, I think they're trying to force in the players that they bought as opposed to picking the best players for the game, right? And it's like the Isak thing, for example. Honestly, Iketika has to start. He's the informed striker. But because you paid 130, you're now forcing him into the 11, right? And then there's a talk of playing them together, or whatever the case is. For me, if he sticks to the same tactical structure he had last season, then just pick the best 11 players for the spots. Like we always talk about this, right? When we talk about FIFA or FC, whatever the game is called now. But when you move players around, the chemistry is affected. And when you take Szoboszlai, your best midfielder and arguably Liverpool's best player this season, and put him at right back because you don't have cover there, you then disturbing the whole dynamic of your midfield. I feel like Curtis Jones has played right back before for Liverpool as a makeshift.
And
Why not put him there instead of putting him in the midfield, because then you lose, right? Arguably your best thing is those three midfielders. Salah has been off form, or he's dropped his form a little bit, but I think he played really well in the New Forest game. I think he was actually pretty good, right? And the other issue I think with him is we know Van Dijk's getting older, so he's slipping a bit. And Kanate just wasn't good in this game, even though he generally is quite good. But Kirk is not good. And everything about trying to fit everyone in and trying to force everyone in, I think is what's costing them. And I honestly believe going forward, just pick the best 11 players and the results will come. And Forest were clinical. I mean, they didn't create that much. When they got a chance, they took it. And it's really that simple. But if there was obviously a lot of United talk earlier, but if I had to choose between the two teams, I'd much rather be Liverpool than United at the moment.
Can you go in detail about that decision?
I mean, it's like everyone is saying that it's United's players and whatever. And that's the truth. Liverpool have a really good squad for the most part. They have very, very good players, and it's just about. I think sometimes they put managers in awkward positions when they buy the way Liverpool have bought all at once, and they also don't address the real problem they have, which is centre back. There's no depth there. You're forcing it, and I maintain Kanate can't stay fit for a long period of time, so you're putting pressure on that guy, and you got an aging backline. Plus, Frimpong for me isn't a right back, so that
Yeah.
already wasn't
Winger.
a good signing in terms of what they needed. Um, and Kirk is it's like Robertson, right? They took him from Hull when Hull got relegated, and he was easily the best left back in the Premier League for a
Mm.
stretch. Um, so it's just figuring all that out. And yeah, Slot is a good coach. I mean, how can you say he's not? He won the
Mm.
Premier League. Now, obviously, United fans are going to say it was luck or whatever the case is. But you want to tell me he's not a good coach when he managed to take a team to a Premier League title, but
Yeah.
Amorim's a good coach, even though he historically is probably the worst United manager that and
Yeah.
but exactly he didn't change anything, Yasin, which is what a good coach does. If something's working, why do you go in and change it? Right? So honestly, you can say this is his team and all that stuff, but Amorim's been in the job for a year, so then that's his team also, right? It doesn't make any sense trying to compare a guy who won the league in his first season to a guy who plays the same formation every week, and then you know you had when I I don't even know what United do, to be honest, because there's no answers. You fire every coach because something's going wrong, even though if you look at all the stats, Solskjaer was better than Amorim, Ten Hag was better than Amorim. So I don't know where United go. But I think Slot was good. You can't look past the guy who wins a league in his first season. How many other coaches have done it? You know, we've got the
Yeah.
coach in the job for 6 years, and everyone makes fun of us because we've won nothing other than probably one FA Cup. Um, so, what makes a good coach then? If Slot isn't one, since he's got the trophy that everyone says makes you a good coach,
Yeah.
but a season later he's not a good coach anymore because
Yeah.
this is his team now, and he was did it with Klopp's team, whatever the case is. You just gotta you take what you get, and you can't keep moving the goalposts with how you judge people. Because if Slot is not good because he won the league last season and he's in 11th now, then I don't know what Amorim is.
Yeah.
To be honest,
So
so
I agree with a lot of your points, and I think like you've hit the nail on the head. Like a lot of the time, it's just that in terms of like just Yasin brought up the squad that Slot inherited was a championship winning squad. It was a really good squad. It was well oiled. Like Klopp basically built this amazing team that could possibly do anything. And like Slot was very fortunate to get that in his very first season in the Premier League, and he probably felt that he didn't need to do anything. And then as time went on, he started like tweaking certain things. Somebody like Luis Diaz saw that okay, the system isn't really going to work for me. I'm going to try to push my way out. He went to Bayern. He's absolutely like hit the ground running over there. And then you get Amorim on the other side, toxic environment he came into. He needed to sort of change a lot of things. He needed to make sure that like the hierarchy at Man United, it's no secret that the hierarchy at Man United is a terrible one. It's a toxic one, all the way from the top up, all the way down. So there's a lot of things that worked against him as well, and that he's trying to sort of remedy on his own. But like I said earlier, you need to be flexible. You can't just say, this is my way. I'm not going to do anything else. You just have to deal with it. Like you have to adapt. This is a new league. You can't do the same things that you did in a lower league. Like with all due respect to the Portuguese league, it's a lower
Mm.
league. You get the same champions every single year. You don't have much competition over there. So you're coming to the best league in the world, the most difficult league in the world. You have to be flexible, man. You can't think that it's going to be plain sailing and then you're chilling what 15th in the league in your first season. Um, but yeah, like we're already half an hour into this episode, so I'm just going to pivot real quickly to um, Eberechi Eze. the guy that Jason looks at with googly eyes. Jason, tell me about this guy. Tell me about this amazing signing at Arsenal.
Nah, he was moving mad, and I think the only thing that I have to say about that is why didn't I captain him? I knew he was gonna ban. I didn't captain FPL, so that's probably the most frustrating thing about Sunday's game. But yeah, what a player! We've always known he's got that silk to him. He's got that free flowing ability. But now we see him in a team where there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectation. And maybe the first few games that he played wasn't up to the standard that we had wanted him or expected him to play. But I think a game like Sunday showed us the full set of qualities that he has. A lot of pressing, a lot of off the ball movement that sometimes people don't see because camera work when you're watching the game isn't the same when you actually get to re-watch it again. Yeah, and then a clinical nature. He's been very unlucky in the first few games that he played. A few chances that he'd normally finish, but I think it was a full set of his skill set that came to play, and it showed in the confidence that it instilled in the team. He gets a half a chance 36 seconds into the second half and he finishes it. Now, I suppose the Arsenal of old and maybe some of the players would not get that on target, or it will be a very tame shot, but literally he gets one touch, bang, goal. And something like that is maybe something that Arsenal has lacked for a long time. Quick backlift, lots of power, lots of finish, lots of clinical, and then, yeah, what a guy. I think the energy that he brings to the team is also very visible, and it was very visible over the weekend as well.
Yes, previously you guys didn't have somebody in depth like this. Like if Odegaard got injured last season or the season before, the quality in depth wasn't at this level. So to have somebody come in and play in a way that when Odegaard returns, he's not guaranteed of a starting spot. And I think a couple of months ago you actually mentioned that like if Eze is better in that position, it doesn't matter if Odegaard is captain. If Eze is playing better, like you should be starting in that number 10 role.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to see from across all teams in all sports, to pick the guys in form as opposed to just picking people based on their profile. So if a guy is playing well in a position, he stays in the team. And we saw, I mean, to go back a good couple of years actually, I think it was with Emilio Martinez when he was still Arsenal goalkeeper when Leno was injured.
Yeah.
When Leno came back, Leno was taken in favor of him, even though Martinez was the form goalkeeper and probably on his way up, whereas I think Leno had already peaked. So it looks like Arteta's learned from that situation where he kept the wrong guy in for whatever reason. At that time, it made sense because Leno was kind of one of the leaders in the team, especially experience, which we didn't have a lot through the rest of the team. But I think going forward, you just have to pick on form, and if Eze is the one that's in form, then Odegaard has to wait his chance, and come in when he comes in.
Yeah, look, I mean, they are.
Okay,
Go ahead, Jason.
Now, I was just going to say that I think Odegaard still maybe, whilst we had a clinic now over the weekend in terms of output, I think Odegaard's off-the-ball things is what makes him so indispensable to the team. But I think, like I'm saying now, Eze showed that he can step up to that level, to lead the press, to lead the charge. And if not, it means he and Marino were doing quite a lot of switching. And it showed maybe more of the tactical flexibility that he gives as opposed to Odegaard. I don't see Odegaard going in a false nine, because Odegaard doesn't have the sort of ability to navigate between two big centre-backs, right? But what Eze and that front line gives us is a lot of movement and a lot of versatility and a lot of ability to play multiple positions. And I'd love to see Saka centrally. I'd love to see Odegaard even play a bit more in the right channel, because that's where he played when he was a youngster coming up. He has a lot of creativity from that side. So the thing that I like the most is that he has this willingness, like Siad says, to play a player that actually he feels is best for the game. And then, to also not be afraid to make that hard call. I'm hoping it stays, because I know he's been burnt by this. His willingness to play Rob Holding in 22, 23 is probably why we never won the league then, when you had a guy like Jakob Kivior who could have played there. his willingness to maybe start Kai Havertz in the beginning of the season when he wasn't getting that form. Yeah, there are little asterisks next to his thing, but I'm hoping that this season gets. It's hard to get every decision right, but I need at least 95% of them right this year.
On the flip side, we have Tottenham Hotspur, and I think that was one of the they've been putting up bad performances for a few weeks now, but that one was as bad as it gets, from Thomas Frank. We have Riaz here in the chat. I don't know if he's still here, but yeah, like I expected more from Thomas Frank at Spurs, especially with the players at his disposal. Zia, do you think that I'm right in saying that he's coming up short more often than not? Like his lack of, so I'm going to bring up flexibility again. His lack of flexibility in game, trying to change things around, keeping on with his standardized tactics. What's your outlook on Thomas Frank thus far at Spurs?
Yeah, it's tough because I thought he'd do a lot better, but it's just a lot of missteps, like playing 5 at the back, which in theory was a good idea, but in application it wasn't, because the 5 at the back, none of them could pick a pass to the fast guys in front. So it's just it's a bit strange, because I thought he'd be a lot better, but the results obviously haven't come, and it doesn't even look like he's doing well. You know what I mean? Like there's no imprint really in what he brings to the team. He's tweaking around a bit, and it could just be that he can't take that step up from a Brentford to a Spurs, and the expectation that comes from it. You know what I mean? So yeah, Spurs have been a bit disappointing. Like I said, I thought they'd be better, but he still has some time to turn it around. So let's see if he can. I think he'll get some time, but it's running out quickly. And I'm a bit concerned that he might end up in the same kind of managerial category that the Graham Potter ended up in, where they can only manage at a certain level or with a certain level of expectation, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to... Sorry? Jason,
No, I'm not done interrupting you. Go for it.
No. Go ahead. I was going to pivot, but you can carry on.
Okay, just a last comment just for Riaz. I think Spurs just the players maybe made too much of the game. There was a lot coming into the game, and they had that great comeback against United, even though they ended up drawing it. They made too much of it, and I think Thomas Frank lost it when he tried to change the normal style of play. The thing that Arsenal struggle with is a team that has a bit of a mid-block, or struggled with, maybe not as much this season. But to immediately go to a back 5 kind of sends a signal to the players like, guys, okay, let's actually change how we play to try and counteract theirs as opposed to imposing ours on them, which, we saw a bit of who Spurs maybe all the season once Richarlison got that goal. But again, I think they just made too much of it, and also just definitely not as professional as I thought. They just let the occasion get way too big for them. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, like Spurs fans are definitely going to hope that their fortunes will change in the next few weeks. I'm going to pivot over to the preview because we're really 40 minutes
I just
in.
answer this one quickly, right? Because asked me, and he's asked me specifically. I don't think it's too much to cry about. It's not a goal that we concede every week. I think Zubomendi's slow in that position. David Raya is not going to be on his line if we're in the box. I mean, if we're in our own half and we've had that position, he acts as an extra player. The statistical the statistical awareness of him being able to do that again, on the run, hit the perfect chip at that distance after they won the ball back, it's fine. If it happens consistently, where even we deep in our half and he's off his line and he then gets chipped, fine, fair, take it. But that's like a one and out. If Zubomendi plays that ball a second quicker, we have no sort of discussion on it. And I think about the goals where he was chipped. It was part of a phase of play where he was joined in and he was part of the attack. So I'm not really too concerned about it. I think the bigger concern is maybe Zubomendi thinking that he had more time in the middle of the park when he was surrounded by a few players. So that's the more alarming thing. I don't have anything to say about David Raya. I think he saved us enough to have a bit of grace in my book.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Best
all.
keeper in the Premier League, in my opinion. But he will be on show this weekend when Arsenal travel to Stamford Bridge. And I mean, Chelsea, they've been in some really good form of late as well, with that insane result last night against Barcelona. Siad, I don't know if you want to take Arsenal, if you want to take Chelsea. You guys can maybe rock, paper, scissors for it, or I'll just randomly choose. I know that, Siad, you like speaking about Chelsea sometimes, so maybe I'm just going to give it to you. You like Estevao, and he had a worldie of a game last night. I think he got one over on Lamine Yamal. Talk to me about how Chelsea is going to be approaching this game on Sunday, sorry. Arsenal being in the form that they are, Chelsea being in the form they are, it's going to be a really, really entertaining one for the neutral.
Yeah, Chelsea took care of business against Burnley, a very professional 2-0 win. They're getting some of the injured players back, which is quite useful for them. We saw the lap score last night, which they needed. And I think Maresca has a good understanding of his squad because he left all 4 strikers on the bench yesterday. And with Barcelona also, like, Hansi Flick is very set in his ways. He plays this high line, but he doesn't have the players anymore to do it. And it's been a discussion point if you follow La Liga for the whole season. And Chelsea just said, okay, cool, we're going to put Garnacho, Neto, and Estevao there, and we're just going to hit them with pace. And there were so many goals that were chalked off for offside because they kept breaking that line. They're not going to get that against Arsenal, I think, as much, because I think Arteta will probably look to have the guys sit a bit deeper to counter that. But Chelsea are really good. They're a lot better than I thought they'd be this season. The world champs, obviously. But Estevao, fantastic. Like you said, he got one over Yamal. I really like what he brings to the game. The options they have also throughout their team is quite good. Cucurella, obviously, he keeps doing it in the big games. I don't know how. And, he's kind of had Saka's number in the past, a couple of games they've played. So that would be interesting to see if they can fight against that. But Reece James in midfield, also a big one. It just gives that Enzo Fernandez a little bit more freedom to play a bit more forward. He has a better impact there. So Chelsea do look good going into the weekend. They got the form. They beat Barcelona. Depending on Arsenal's result tonight, it could have a effect on how they approach the game on Sunday.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Jason, from an Arsenal point of view, surely there has to be some weakness in this Chelsea team that Arsenal could be identifying or Arsenal could be eyeing at the moment.
In the words of our favorite, Sripad's favorite player, Robert Sanchez, definitely. I think defensively as well, they are not all there. I think there was maybe a different opinion that I had on that first half against Burnley. Whilst very professional result, Chelsea carved it out. I think Burnley caused them a lot of problems. They troubled them a bit, and a lack of a finisher was probably the reason Burnley didn't get something.
That's why I said dominated or whatever. I said professional because it wasn't like they ran Burnley over. They just went there and 1-2-0. That's what you're supposed to do when you go.
Yeah, literally. And that's literally what you want from your team away from home at Turf Moor. It's such a tricky ground to play, and I think the same thing that I've been saying for the last few seasons in Chelsea is that Chelsea proved to be that sort of banana skin game for many of the top. I'm not going to say many of the top 6 teams, but teams in and around that are challenging, because you genuinely don't know which Chelsea team's going to turn up. It could be the team that lost against Brighton who conceded 3 goals late on, right? It could be the team that turns up against Barca and completely runs them into the ground and forces errors. And okay, I'm not saying that they were bad yesterday. They played exceptionally well, but also Barca are a team that is so confused at the moment. Hansi Flick's high line. And yeah, Neto literally, one of the highlights I saw was he literally picked the ball up, ran into their half, kicked it about 15 meters and ran, and he overlapped the left back or right back that had like a bit of a head start. So it's like, I don't think, like you say, Arsenal's going to give them that much. In recent years, it hasn't been too successful for Arsenal going to Stamford Bridge. I think last season was 2-2, if I'm not mistaken. And the season before or so, I think it was only one game in recent time where we went there and completely dominated them. And that was, I think it was a Gabriel header, maybe 22, 23. We were waiting this kid actually. So yeah, it's again going to be up to Arsenal. Every game is going to be, somebody's going to want to peg us back. And that's going to really test that sort of metal. And I'm hoping that we can step up again.
How do you think that Arsenal's going to be dealing with that high line, though? You have William Saliba, who's quite agile in his own right, but then you have Mosquera or Nkapia. I don't know who Arteta will go with for this game. They probably still finding their way, like to adapt to the pace of the Premier League and to go up against like three pacey players in Garnacho, Estevao, and Pedro Neto. If Maresca decides to go for that same front three, that could be a very hectic trial by fire for either Nkapia or Mosquera, Siad.
No, I actually don't. I don't see it playing out that way because we generally don't play a high line. I think what tends to happen is because of all the possession we have, our players are in those positions. But without the ball, we try to be a bit more compact. And I don't think we're going to have as much possession unless Maresca decides give them the ball and we'll just counter. I actually think that if the game goes as I think it would, I think it's going to be fairly even in terms of possession. We wouldn't be, playing high. We'd probably be dropping a bit deep. We're deeper than usual. And you'd probably find Zubamendi sitting a bit further back as well to counter all that. So I don't think they'll have the space behind to hit the ball into unless it's on a quick transition and a quick counter, like after a corner, for example, or something like that. But in general, open play, I don't think we'll push high because of the pace that they do have. And I actually think that this is a game where he's not going to play that same front three. You're probably looking at João Pedro leading the line, which is why I think he was on the bench yesterday. I think he's a type of player that has done well against Arsenal before. So I think he's going to be the one that would start, and one of the others who would make way if it's Garnacho or Pedro Neto. Even though I think Pedro Neto probably the better player against Arsenal. I have nightmares of his last. I think he scored against us in the last one of the Chelsea games, if I'm not mistaken. But he tends to trouble the guys at the back. So yeah, I think João Pedro will start, and I think our defense will be okay. But worrying on the counter, like I said, if there are a lot of quick counters, how we backtrack is going to be interesting to watch. But I think that's where Declan Rice and Zubamendi come in to help negate the counter.
Yeah. I think we're thinking about Arsenal maybe in a few seasons back we allowed a lot of transitions. There's been 2 games where we've looked completely shoddy, right, in terms of transition. And one was against United on the first game there, which I'm not going to put anything to just the beginning of the season being a bit rusty. And then the game against Brighton in the Carabao Cup where we played a weakened team and I've never seen us concede so many chances so quickly. But Arsenal don't offer up a lot of transitional moments. It's maybe down to a bit of a pressure and then, you start giving away careless errors and stuff like that. But the way we're speaking about it, I don't think we're going there fearing the transition because I think we'll negate that, like you say, with the Rice, with the Zubamendi. On the centre-back pairing, I think Mosquera's first game was against Liverpool. He came in after 4 minutes, and I don't think he put the foot wrong against Isak, against Ekatike.
And that was it at Anfield? Or? Yeah,
it was at Anfield. Second game, we obviously beat United, and not second, maybe third game. We weren't at our free-flowing best. Nkapia now over the weekend at home, I don't think he put the foot wrong either. I think he was defensively sound. He had a lot of challenges where he took Richarlison and he basically took him on a walk. Maybe some a bit overly aggressive. I don't mind it. But yeah, it looks very composed on the ball. So I'm not really feeling like the defense is going to be the issue. I think you said those three players. The only one I'm genuinely afraid of is probably Estevao. Canacho, Pedro Neto, as fast as they are, I think they think too fast of themselves and they actually waste a lot of chances. They are good when there's massive amounts of space, but when you need it to be a quick action and you need to get a accurate outcome out of it, I don't think they're the best. So I'm not too phased about that. Maybe the problem we have now is that Enzo Fernandez decides to pick up form. I still don't think it'll be too much of an issue, but yeah, I think the key battle is whether we play with Marino again, because I think he played a very good role over the weekend, and whether he'll then be able to occupy, somebody like Casado, maybe cause Enzo to maybe not go forward as much. Once we negate that, I think we should be good.
Will Gyökeres be back this weekend? Is he fit? I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything.
I don't think so. I think he might make the bench. I think somebody who's purely motivated by it is Havertz, and Havertz might be on the bench as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's also, both of them are late fitness tests, but again, I don't think this is a game that completely swings the pendulum. Yes, it would be nice. I think we then, if we were to win, we then got 9 points clear, which is nice. But I mean, 9 points clear in November isn't going to guarantee that you win the league in May. So it's not a be all end all that we have to risk players to play. I think we've got enough depth. We've got enough players that came back recently, and maybe even somebody like Madueke. He might be motivated to kind of prove Chelsea wrong. So yeah.
So instead of asking you guys where the game will be won and lost and all of that, those things, I'm going to ask you guys to point out one player that is going to be an absolute nightmare for the opposition this weekend. So, Ziad, you can do Chelsea for Arsenal. Jason, you can do Arsenal for Chelsea.
Obviously, don't know exactly what the playing 11 going to be up front. There might be a couple of banana skins there with who they actually pick. I don't think their defense. There's nothing in Chelsea's defense really for me to worry about. I think Cucurella was good. He's in good form, but I don't think he's going to be the main man.
Yeah.
I want to say it's going to be the right wing. So if it's Estevao who plays there, I want to say that's going to be the spot, because with Calafiori, if you can put him under pressure going at him and especially turning him, you might get some luck, because he's not the quickest and he can be a bit clumsy when he is, tracking back, which we've seen him pick up silly yellow cards before. So I reckon for me it's going to be Estevao on the right wing or whoever plays there.
Yeah,
that's fair. Jason?
Yeah, look, I think the easy one would say Eze, probably just after the game that he had. I was going to highlight Calafiori just because I think he picks up positions that opposition can't really track, which is interesting, especially with Reece James possibly coming to the midfield. Does he watch Calafiori? Then who's watching Trossard? But yeah, I'm actually going to highlight Leo Trossard just because I think he's been exceptionally influential. His record against the Big Six is ridiculous, and he has enough quality to both be a decider of a game, but also to play his part and be part of the crew that carries the actual piano. So yeah, I think Leandro Trossard is the guy just because he's also come up clutch in recent games against them. So yeah, I'm going to go Leo Trossard.
Nice one. I like that. And while we still have you, let's get your predictions for the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. We seem to be leaky a bit, but yeah, I still think we should have enough to get the win.
Ziad?
I'm a Syria, so I'm going 1-1.
I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Chelsea, because I feel like the points on offer for them, they win this one, they're 3 points behind Arsenal. I think that they might want it a little bit more. It's at the bridge as well, so yeah, I think that they'll just be a little bit more hungrier. I don't know. Than Arsenal, and yeah, I think that they'll see it off, but I think it's going to be an entertaining one nonetheless. Moving on to our final segment, and it's not going to be a long one. I only have about 5 scenarios here. If you guys have watched the previous episode, you know what the play on, yellow card, and red card game is about. So play on means you basically agree with it, you cool with it. Yellow card, you caught in the middle a bit, you a bit hesitant about what's happening there, and then red card is you just totally disagree, and no, you're not having any of that. So my first one, Jason, a goalkeeper time waste blatantly from the first half.
Red card, bro. Red card.
Yeah,
Not
no.
happy.
Imagine that, like, and we've seen that. I think it was Nick Pope that did it sometime last season. It was in the 35th minute. The dude was backtracking all the way beyond the goalpost, and you got a yellow card. What are you doing, dude? It's the 35 minutes in. Why are you wasting time? But yeah, I fully agree. See, are you on board with that one?
Nah, I like it, man. You know, I like all these
I
weird
love
things.
gamesmanship. That's you asking this guy,
The
can
thing
you
is,
be more gamesman?
you have to do it in a way where you don't get caught, man. Nick Pope was just blatant. Like, be smarter.
Yeah.
I'll go yellow
Yeah.
card.
Okay. Okay, next one. Zia, this is coming to you first. A player swaps shirts at halftime.
Nah, man. That is there anything more extreme than red? People have lost the plot, bruh. It's all for the gram, you know.
Andre Santos.
Yo.
Remember
It happens
Andre
more
Santos?
now than it used to. Like, it's just like people want that. They're so scared about not getting that shirt at the end of the game that they just
But
like,
all
no,
these things
no,
can be
no.
done behind closed doors. Why must they
Yeah.
do it again? It's just like, stop getting caught, man. That's all it is.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think you have to ask me, but 100% echo that. Like, nah, have some shame.
Okay, I'm gonna go into the stadium a bit now. The fans boo their own team after a poor performance.
Allow it. Play on, ref. Play on. If you kala, then you must know.
But we hear on social media, we hear from all of these keyboard warriors that the match going fans are the great ones. But when the keyboard warriors or the social media goers, they complain, they don't have the right to complain about it. So I think I'm in the middle about that one, because the stadium going fans shouldn't have all the power. They shouldn't feel like they have the right to have all the power. But yeah.
So you saying you'd rather boo in your lounge? You just sit there, boo. Just
Like, I mean,
standing.
if we aren't allowed to boo, what gives them the right to boo? Just because they're there in person.
Nah, but if
So
you pay for a ticket, then you are allowed to boo. Ramiza said it.
I pay for my merch, the same thing,
Nice.
same price. A striker deliberately misses a penalty because they think the foul was unfair.
Are you mal? How can you turn down the opportunity to score a goal? That is now a model line that doesn't make any sense. Let me kick miss here
We've
because
seen that happen
they
in the
gave a
Qatar
bad
League,
thing.
the
Nah,
great
man.
Qatar League.
I don't know.
Who was it as well?
It's
Was
it's like cricket, right? Where if you don't walk when you nick the ball, you're gonna get given out when you get a bad decision. So it comes around, man. Karma. So you get given a penalty. It's not your problem that the ref gave it. Go score the goal.
Okay, but
and
if
the
he
final-
moves it right, like if he fakes it and then he gets up and he takes it, like it feels like a Harry Kane thing to do. Shameless.
Yeah.
Something will happen to him later on. He'll get an ACL or something. It will come around, bro.
It's like it, man. It
You can
can't be
only
that.
escape for so long.
You must say the worst possible injury any footballer can have is what's going to happen if you're not going to admit to lying. Nah, you are other variety.
Life comes at you.
Nah,
The last
definitely.
one is, and I can't remember if we covered it the last time, but celebrating against a team that you came through the academy at. So you did your entire academy there. You moved to another team. You score a goal against them, and you just absolutely let the fans have it for discarding you in the first place.
You saying Liverpool get Real Madrid in the knockout rounds and Trent
And
whoops
Trent
you.
has 100%.
What about Rashford against Barca? Oh, Rashford wouldn't play against. I mean, Rashford for Barca against United, but that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, if he
Tough.
goes permanently,
That
he
can only
can.
happen as a mid-season friendly or something.
In Saudi.
In Saudi Arabia.
Are they playing
On
Arsenal in
Barca's
a
day in the
friendlies
Saudi
now?
calendar. Against the team that you came through the academy. I think I'd caution against it. There's obviously different reasons why you maybe leave. If you feel hard done by because they maybe didn't give you a pathway, then fine. But if you're shameless, then yeah, sent up. So I'm gonna go yellow.
Yeah, I'll also go yellow because it's like if you're left on good terms, you're not going to celebrate. Like we've seen players, we saw Eze score against Palace, we saw Rice score against West Ham. They left on good terms, right? Obviously, Eze went through Arsenal's academy, which is the more
Yeah.
interesting part. But if you like, obviously, what's that fellow at United, Chido Obi or something, right?
Yeah.
Like he left
Obi,
on
right.
bad terms. So if
Yeah.
he scores against Arsenal, then you should celebrate, right? Because
He's going to do an
Arsenal didn't value
Adebayo
me or whatever.
100%.
You'd first have to
If
obviously
that
into
even
the
sniffs the
playing
first,
11.
I heard he's playing under 16s now again, and now he's over age.
No, but if you were kicked out or if you were
Yeah.
unfairly omitted, then come celebrate, bro. You can run even to the director of football if you feel like.
The thing is,
Yeah.
now, I've always believed that if you are let go, then the onus is on you to then prove why they should have kept you. So
Yeah.
somebody like Eze is probably, and I know it seems like this is the week for him in my life, but I think it's a story to more of it, right? Where you get rejected, and I mean he's been rejected by everybody and their auntie as well. So yeah, you come back and now you show that you actually should have been here, and yeah, I say, Dala, do it. Do what you need to do.
I think the player that did that to United, and he left on pretty good terms when he left, but the moment he got to celebrate when he went to Arsenal, Danny Welbs,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy. Well,
in that first
see,
fixture against
at
United,
the end of the day, if you don't feel valued, then
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where the celebration comes from. But if you were valued in a place, you wouldn't celebrate. And
yeah,
I think it's that simple.
yeah,
The yellow card is probably the most appropriate
I
yeah.
think
setting.
that's fair. Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair play, man.
Yeah, and that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in, everybody that was in the chat. It was boosting for the most part of the show, so appreciate every single one of you who came through. Jason, thank you so much for coming through. Where can the people find you on the social media platforms?
On the socials, bro, at Jason_Ronnie. I haven't changed much. Yeah, I'm trying to be more active, and I think I'm lying to myself because every episode I say that. But yeah, maybe as it starts to ramp up, it's been a bit of a busy few months for me, but now it maybe going to quiet down, gives me more time to interact. So please do interact. Let us know. Even if you leave me a question in the week, we can bring it up here. So yeah.
Love that. Siaj, you are more active than Jason is, so tell us a bit about that.
And you can find me everywhere at TR Parker 7. Otherwise, you can find me parading as the Sportycast admin on all the social.
You know, Batman doesn't go around in the street and say, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. You know, the man keeps a bit of a low-key profile to him.
Yeah, he just leaves half his face open, right? So
Yeah, but that's
see, it's
because
like
he loves
I can't hide
That's
because on
everything else.
Facebook when I post on behalf of Sportycast, it says they published
Yeah.
by Ziad. So
Mm.
I mean, you saw that one clip where Marshmallow takes off his mask, right, when he wins the award. The people need to know.
Everybody sees it eventually.
Fair play. Clock in, but
Yeah, I am at Apoca642 on all social media platforms. We are at Sportycast on every single platform, like he had said. He's Eberechi as our admin, giving you guys the latest sports updates every single morning. So go ahead and like our post, comment on it, share it. Sia does a lot of research into a lot of these things. So it would be great for us to have those news or those snippets reach far and wide. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, smash that subscribe button, hit the like video on this video, like button on this video, and I'm A4343. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye.